Welcome brave souls to the next video of The Ghostly Things. Today, we will talk about 5 Nepalese folklores and stories. So let's embrace the unknown and face your deepest fears. But before that, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Now let's roll forward with our first folklore. Once, there was a small Nepali village surrounded by beautiful hills and forests. It was a peaceful place with a spooky secret that the villagers used to talk about. At the center of the village, there was an old and special building called a pagoda, a Buddhist place of worship. It looked like a beautiful wooden house with many carvings and decorations on its roof. The villagers used it for prayers and their moments of peace. A long time ago, a young monk named Tenzin lived in this pagoda. He was a nice person who liked to think deeply and pray regularly. People in the village loved him because he was wise and kind. But something very sad happened. One day, while Tenzin was sitting under a big tree near the pagoda, a huge branch fell down and hurt him badly. Tenzin passed away, and the whole village was very sad because they liked him a lot. However, something strange started happening. People began to hear weird sounds coming from the pagoda at night. It was a sound of someone crying. Some villagers even said they saw a shadowy figure that looked like Tenzin walking around the pagoda. People began to believe that Tenzin's spirit, his ghost, was not at peace. They thought he was still around, not able to go to the afterlife like he should. One night, a group of villagers decided to find out what was really happening. They brought lanterns and gathered near the pagoda after midnight. Then, something strange happened. They again heard the sad crying of someone and felt a strange gush of wind passing by. And, in the dim light of their lanterns, they saw a shadow that looked like Tenzin, the monk, right in front of them. This ghostly figure, dressed in monk's clothes, walked around the pagoda like he was searching for something. The villagers couldn't stop staring, watching in surprise and fear. Some villagers thought that Tenzin's spirit was trying to make up for something bad, which he did when he was alive. Others believed that he was guarding a hidden treasure under the pagoda. But I suspect we will never know the truth. Even today, the pagoda remains a mysterious and special place. People still remember the story of Tenzin's restless spirit. It reminds us that sometimes strange and magical things happen. And the line between what we know and what we don't know is not always clear. Now moving to folklore number 2. Once upon a time, in the tall mountains of the Himalayas, there was a bridge that was known as the Cursed Bridge. People said it was scary because they believed a sinister presence lived there. The story goes, a long time ago, the villagers needed a bridge to cross a river. So, they hired a very skilled builder to make it. This builder worked very hard and put all his effort into building the bridge. But when he finished, the villagers did something very unfair. They didn't pay him for his hard work. This made the builder very sad and angry. Before the builder passed away, he said something that was like a spell or a curse. He said that because the villagers treated him so unfairly, bad things would happen to the bridge that he had built for them. After that, the bridge became an extremely scary place. People who went there talked about hearing strange sounds in the wind. Some even said they saw a sinister figure that looked like the builder. As if the builder's spirit was still there, making the bridge a cursed place. This story teaches us something important. When we treat people unfairly, it can cause problems, even after a long time. The cursed bridge reminds us to be fair and kind to others, so that we don't end up with spooky curses and eerie ghosts from the past. Now moving to story number 3. Once upon a time, near a village in Nepal, there was a dense forest. This forest was considered very special because people believed it was home to magical beings. These magical beings were like the protectors of the forest and its hidden treasures. One day, a man named Rahim, who worked as a woodcutter, decided to go into this magical forest to find some valuable wood. Even though the villagers warned him to not go there, he didn't listen. While Rahim was in the forest, he did something perilous. Blindfolded by his greed, he cut down a tree that the magical beings considered sacred. This made the spirits in the forest very angry. That night, Rahim couldn't sleep peacefully. He heard strange whispers, and the wind felt cold and spooky. When he woke up, he saw glowing, ghostly figures, with bright eyes, all around him. These were the forest spirits, and they were certainly not pleased with him, as he had disrespected their sacred place. The spirits took Rahim deep into the forest, where he found a tree that was very different from the others. Its bark sparkled like gold. As he was earlier blindfolded by his greed, the spirits tied his eyes with a golden cloth and hung him upside down the golden tree. They also cursed him to stay that way till eternity. It is believed that till date, Rahim is hanging upside down to the golden tree in that forest. Rahim's story imparts an important lesson to everyone. It teaches us to respect and take care of nature, because there are magical and special things in the world that we might not understand. It's a reminder to be kind to our environment and the creatures that live in it. Or else, we'll be hung upside down forever, exactly like Rahim. Now moving to story number 4. Nepal is a land of beauty, with many peaceful lakes, each hiding its own unique stories and mysteries. Among these lakes, there's one that's famous, but for a sad reason. It's called the Lake of Lost Souls. A long time ago, there was a young couple, deeply in love. Their love was so strong that they decided to run away together, even though their families didn't want them to. They believed that they could find a safe place near the Lake of Lost Souls, where they could be together forever. But their happiness didn't last long. One night, when a powerful storm roared through the land, the lake's calm waters turned wild and fierce. It created a huge swirling whirlpool, like a big, spinning tunnel, that swallowed the young couple. It was a terrible accident. The people who lived near the lake believed that the spirits of the young couple got stuck in the lake. It was as if the lake didn't want to let them go, keeping them trapped in its deep, dark waters. Sometimes, when visitors came to the lake, especially on stormy nights, they claimed they heard sad cries. It was like the voices of the young couple were still there, echoing across the water. They believed the spirits were calling out to each other, searching for the love they had lost, forever tied to the Lake of Lost Souls. People who passed by the lake often left little gifts, like flowers or candles, as a way to make the spirits feel better. It was a sign of respect and sympathy for the sad story of the young lovers. This story reminds us that love and tragedy can have a very strong impact, even after a very long time. Moving on to the last story. In the foothills of the Grand Himalayan mountains, there stood a colossal mountain, known by the name, the Watcher. It was not an ordinary mountain. Its towering peaks and rugged cliffs made it stand out in the landscape. People believed it was home to a special and protective spirit. Once upon a time, there was a young shepherd who was very curious. He ventured deep into the caves of the mountain, wanting to explore its hidden treasures. There, in the quiet depths of the mountain, he met a mysterious figure. This figure had kind and gentle eyes and a comforting smile. It was a spirit unlike any he had ever seen. This gentle spirit, with eyes filled with kindness, spoke to the young shepherd. It warned him of a terrible disaster that was about to happen to his village. The spirit guided him, showing him the way to safety. The shepherd returned to his village and shared the spirit's warning with everyone. Just as the spirit had foretold, a massive landslide soon threatened to bury the village. But because of the shepherd's warning, the villagers had enough time to leave their homes and go to a safe place. The disaster was averted, and they were saved. From that day onwards, the villagers looked at the mountain differently. They believed that it was not just a mountain, but a guardian spirit. They thought of it as a protector, watching over them with kind and caring eyes. To show their gratitude, they offered prayers and thanks to the Watcher. This kept their bond with the mountain spirit strong. A bond that would protect them in times of need. This story is not just about a mountain. It's a story about the connection between people and the world around them. It reminds us that sometimes there are unseen forces looking out for us, and by respecting and caring for nature, we can find the required strength and protection. So that's all on the top 5 Nepalese folklores. Until next time, stay curious, stay courageous, and always keep seeking the truth and thrill in the shadows. And, if you like our video, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell icon to get regular updates on new videos. Ciao!